Right, hello again YouTube, it's GamerTech77. Like I said, I did get the Blaster Blade trial deck, but I did manage to get some new Royal Paladin cards, and I have changed the deck around. I made some changes, like changing the starting Vanguard and moving some of the other grades. All the triggers are still the same, so obviously 4 of each starter trigger to start you off. But anyway, this is all you get. Deck box just tells you some basic stuff on the back. Got Stardust Trumpeter, Aichi Sendo, Knight of the Heart Tristan, and it does come with the front card as Blaster Blade, but I don't keep them. I just tend to keep the starting Vanguard. It comes with one basic one-sided playmat, just printed plastic. Which does actually come in this plastic wallet. This is the wrong starter's guide though, because I'll mix this up. This has got the playbooks from this trial deck in instead of the other ones, so I won't show you them. But it's just basic play rules and that. But you kind of learn the rules as you play anyway, so I'll do that after the video anyway. Let's get down to the deck. I really should have thought about sorting this out beforehand, but screw it, I'll do it now. Just give me a second, guys. I'm done. Anyway, right. Right, start off. I use for my starting Vanguard, Bruegel, because if you're not using a deck that utilizes the soul massively, Bruegel's a great card to start with, because it basically gives you one extra card to start with. Obviously, when he's ridden, whether it's a grade 0 or a grade 1 on the first turn, you can move Bruegel to the rear guard, anywhere round. But you can move him to the rear guard. It may only be 4,000 points, and I tend to only run one Bruegel for the starting Vanguard, so it doesn't really make use of the fact that you can get plus 1,000 for another Bruegel on the field. It tends to kind of waste time unless you have high summoning abilities, like with some of the other high dog Royal Paladin cards that you can use to summon other monsters, or if you have more than one Beast Knight Garmor in your deck. If you're running the Garmor set, Bruegel and Snowgull are key cards because you get loads of bonuses for having a full field. It tends to work more with Snowgull because Snowgull's a grade 1 and it has higher attack, but because it gains the same bonus. But I just tend to run one Bruegel for a starting Vanguard, and that's it. Then basically, stand, heal, critical, draw, your main triggers. I haven't got any other Royal Paladins with triggers, so I've got 4 of each of these, just like it's in the trial deck. So that's Flogel, Eagle Still Main in the Lane, Bringer of Good Luck, Epona, and Weapon Stealer Governor. So that's it for my grade 0s. My grade 1s, I'm running just like that comes in the trial set, 4 Little Sage Marin. Great, strong, grade 1, whether you ride it or don't ride it. It doesn't have an effect, which is kind of unfortunate, but for 8,000 damage, it is fairly high. It can stand up to grade 3s if you've got good boosting cards, but you tend not to use Little Sage Marin against grade 3s unless you obviously boost him with it. I have got find the other one. I've got 3 Snowball. Brilliant card, especially when using Beast Knight Garmar. Call 1 to the field. It's good for riding. It's only 6,000 grade 1. If you've got all 3 of these on the field, though, that's 2,000 to each. So they all are at 8,000 as long as they're on the field. So basically, it's like a grouped version of Little Sage Marin. You have to have all 3 of the field, and all 3 of them are at 8,000. But that's about it. It's good for early on in the game, especially if you call 1 to your Vanguard to ride, move Brugal to the back, call a Snowball for support, and call a Snowball to the front guard. I mean, Brugal doesn't get anything. All these are sat at 8,000. You've got a great attacking chance. It's just they're really good early on in the game. But anyway, I just run through them. I then also have I think all 4 of these are in the trial deck. I know I've picked up 1 or 2 more, but I've got 4 Knight of Rose Morgana. Not one of the main cards, well, I do use Knight of Rose Morgana a lot, but even if I draw them into hand, I mostly use them for shield. If I don't have any of the grade 1s in my hand, I will ride it, but I will not play any rear guards otherwise. If I don't ride it and I ride another grade 1, I will use 1 in rear guard. I only use 1 on the field at once only, because you tend to get more power from other units than from using Morgana. Morgana, you have to discard a Royal Paladin from your hand, and Morgana gains plus 4,000. It's taken her up to 10,000, so she stands with some of the higher attack cards in this deck, and is really good for an early damage as well. It's also good if you have a field that's jam-packed full of monsters, full of units, and you get 2 attacks off. You start off with a rear guard. Then go with your Vanguard. Maybe pick up a stand trigger or a critical trigger. Give all effects to Morgana. Use her ability. An extra 4,000. They don't see it coming, and you get an extra 2 damage off. Great for early damage. Great for really good early damage. Next, also come with the trial deck, and I do run all 4 of them. For Starlight Unicorn, as soon as you pull them onto rearguard, 1 unit gains plus to 1 Royal Paladin unit gets plus 2,000 until the end of the turn. So not really the best if you're just trying to fill up the field for attacks. Really best if you save them for later on in the game. You need a booster unit. Pull it to the rearguard for boost. Give 2,000 to one of your front rows. Higher attack. So yeah, I run 4 of them. I have got 2 of these came with the trial deck. 1 I got in a Descent of the King of Knights boost pack. 3 Wingull. As you can see, that's the alternate. These are basically for boosting Blaster Blade. If it boosts a card named Blaster Blade, the boosted unit gets plus 4,000 to the end of that battle. Simple as that. I was only running 2, and I put in another grade. I think it was either a grade 2 or a grade 3. But now that I've got 3, I've taken that other card out, and I've put this other Wingull in. So now I've got 3 of them. So really handy for boosting Blaster Blade. Just also 6,000 damage. It's not brilliant, but it does come in handy when running thing. Lake Maiden Lien. If you've got a really terrible card in your hand, really terrible card that's not going to do much. Something like, say, if you're right at the beginning of the game, you've got 2 grade 3s in your hand. Maybe you started off, even after Mulligan, you started off with, for example, in this deck, say I had 2 Gancelots and a Brigitte in my hand. I came up with Lake Maiden Lien as well. Even if I don't ride her, I'll call it to the rear guard. I would have already used Gancelot's skill to get Blaster Blade in my hand anyway. But the other Gancelot I would have kept if I had 2 in my hand. Brigitte, I would use Lake Maiden Lien's ability. Rest her, discard a Royal Paladin from your hand to draw another. Really helpful early on in the game, especially if you've got a terrible amount of usable units. Or if you've just got a hand packed full of grade 3s. I know mulligans where I've just pulled out nearly all grade 3s and had one grade 1, called it, and it's just like you can't do anything. You attack with your Vanguard, they easily defend. But she's quite handy. I am looking for another one. I really want another one for this deck. But I'm looking for a lot of others. Royal Paladin cards. I'm running in this deck 3 Galatins. The deck comes with 4, but I only run 3. Only because he's let down by the fact that he's got no ability. 10,000 power, really good for a grade 2. Intercept, 5,000 defense. Really helpful for filling up the field before your grade 3 turn. He's just an all-round good card. Obviously I run 1 Blaster Blade. I haven't pulled another one yet, otherwise I'd be running 2 in this deck. The Beast Knight Garmor. If I had another Blaster Blade, I would run another Blaster Blade and not Beast Knight Garmor, because Garmor is good for the fact that you can just call either a Snowgull or a Brugal, call it to rear guard and shuffle your deck. But you do have to discard a Royal Paladin from your hand. But for 8,000 power and being able to call by discarding a card from your hand, it's really easy. 1 Knight of the Harp Tristan. Really good card, but the only problem with this is its ability is only when it's in the Vanguard circle. That's why I run 1. It's kind of a filler for the deck. Just an extra grade 2 that works really well on the Vanguard. Because if its drive check reveals grade 3 Royal Paladin, your unit gets plus 5,000. So whether you pull a grade 0 trigger, well, basically because Brugal's the only grade 0 that doesn't have a trigger, and you're starting off with him, that takes him out of the game automatically. Then all your grade 0s are triggers. So whether you pull a grade 0 or a grade 3, you're still getting a plus 5,000 bonus. If it's grade 3, you just don't get the trigger effect, you still get the plus 5,000. Anyway, that's not least, Covenant Knight Randolph. 8,000 power, really good if you haven't got many options, if you haven't got many cards to play. Especially if you've got a large hand, or you're pulling draw triggers all day. If you've got a large hand, it's good because if your hand is greater than your opponent's, he gets plus 3,000 until the end of that battle. Vanguard or rearguard. So he is very good, but I only run 1. You start off with 4, I think, but I took 3 out. I did get another 2, I think, but I only run 1. He's a good card, but too many of him, it just doesn't work. And then last but not least, grade 3s. Now you start off with 4 Bridget. I run 3, mainly for the fact that her ability only works in the Vanguard circle, and it's exactly the same as Knight of the Harp Tristans. If it reveals a grade 3 Royal Paladin, the unit gets plus 5,000. Not that many people use a lot of grade 3s in the deck, simply for the fact that they're useless till the end of the game, and if you're drawing grade 3s all day, you're going to get nowhere. So, I am looking for new grade 3 Royal Paladin cards to replace her with, because she's just not worth it. Just not worth it. So I did take 1 of her out. I used 3 Gancelot for the fact that you can use him to search for Blaster Blade early on in the game, especially if you pull him in your hand straight off. And his counter blast is only 2, and if Blaster Blade's in your soul, you get plus 5,000 and plus 1 critical. So you have a chance of literally late on in the game, if you've already used Gancelot's skills once, he's out of the, one of your Gancelot cards is out of the game. You would then have the chance later on in the game, if you've ridden Blaster Blade, to ride Solitary Knight Gancelot and pull a rearguard Gancelot. If you didn't even use your first Gancelot hand skill, but you've still ridden Blaster Blade, you've got a chance of 3 units with plus 5,000 and plus critical. Well, you've got 2 units with plus 5,000 and plus 1 critical. If you do manage to pull a heal trigger before then, well, say you pulled out 2 Gancelots, you've got plus 5,000, 1 plus critical on each. So there's technically 4 damage if you've got 2 good boosting units. But then even if you pull out heal trigger, heal 1 damage, you got another Gancelot in there, or you can use one of their effects again. So it is a wild card. It is a really good card for ending the game. I've done it a few times, ending the game with that card, Ganslot's a really good card. And then finally, Knight of Conviction Boars. Counterblast, Rearguard or Vanguard. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, this unit gets plus 3,000 to the end of the battle. You can use it over and over again. If you've just pulled a grade 3 and you don't have a very good hand setup, if you don't have a good field setup, but they're on 5 damage as well, you rock out all your counterblast you can to up it by 3,000 for each card. So for a total of 15,000, taking him to 25,000 on his own. On his own. Then with a boost, I'd say probably one of the best boosting cards would probably be trying to think who would be probably Knight of Rose Morgana, because if you discard one card from your hand, give plus 4,000, you've got another 10,000 damage to add on. So that's a major total of 35,000. Even so, if he's your Vanguard and you pull 2 triggers, that's another 10,000 on that you can add to him, and maybe even criticals. So he is a good card to have in the deck. That's about it for my deck though. As you can see, I have made a few changes. I added in Late Maiden Liane, another Wingall, added in the 3 Snowball, taken out the Randolphs, adding the Bruegel for the starting card, adding the second Ganslot, taken out a Bridget. There is a lot more I could do to this deck. I did enter a tournament and I won my first game basically by luck, double heel trigger. Second game got absolutely wiped out. It was about 6-3 damage. This guy had a really great defense. I couldn't penetrate whatsoever. That sounds so bad, but yeah. And then basically I have had no luck. There is a lot of work to do and there is a lot of practice I need. So please, if you have a look at my first video, I know that video is a bit long. This video is probably longer. My Skype is on that video. I'll probably put a link in the description down there somewhere to that video, so you're not having to try and find it. And please get my Skype, add me, and then just send us a message saying, do you want a card fight, and I'll see what I can do. I might say, just a bit busy, try another time, or I'm free in 15 minutes, can you wait that long, or whatever. So just get me. If you want to trade as well, I'm up for trading, whether you're from the UK or you're from further afield. Just email me, send me a message on Skype, just get hold of me somehow, and we'll sort out what we're trading between each other, and we'll sort out how to get it to each other. So just give me a shout, and speak to you later, guys.